Hey everyone, welcome to this explainer. Today, we're embarking on something really special, a guided reflection on a day that comes around, well, exactly once a year for all of us. But man, it carries a surprising amount of psychological weight, doesn't it? I'm talking about our birthdays. Specifically, we're going to explore how we intentionally spend this time. It's a day that's heavily wrapped up in all these societal expectations, but today, we're stripping all of that away. We're going to look at the raw psychology of how we choose to celebrate or, not celebrate ourselves. Now, I want you to just slow down for a second. Really imagine this sensory experience with me. The clock is ticking in the background. There are no calls coming in. There are absolutely no messages buzzing on your phone. And there is no cake sitting on the kitchen counter. It is just you, completely alone in your space. Now, for some people, this scenario sounds literally terrifying. It's incredibly daunting. But for others, it is a highly deliberate, deeply fulfilling choice. Okay, let's dive into this. Why do some people actually choose to spend this day completely alone? To figure this out, we're going to act as observers today. We're going to step directly into the lives of two very different people who both spend their birthdays entirely solo. It's this really compelling psychological exploration into two incredibly different motivations for solitude. Let's take a look. First up, Mirror 1, Alex and the Avoidance Solo Birthday. Let's look at the progression of Alex's day. He's a 29-year-old introvert, and get this, he actually told his friends he was going on a solo trip just to avoid people. A few years ago, he used to be the guy throwing these massive parties, inviting literally everyone he knew, smiling brightly for all the photos. But every single year after the party ended and everyone went home, he just felt emptier than before. So now his morning starts in his apartment. He's got his coffee, there's sunshine coming through the window, but he doesn't really feel the warmth. Deep down, there's actually a sense of relief. But as we move into the afternoon, the lights are dimmed, he's eating takeout, watching old movies, and then notice what happens right around 8 p.m. The ticking clock starts to amplify. Something shifts. He starts scrolling through old photos on his phone, smiling at the memories, and then this quiet sadness just settles in. The sheer weight of his isolation finally hits him. So, the crucial point is what's actually happening inside Alex's mind here. Psychologists identify three core drivers for this kind of behavior. First up, a deep fear of vulnerability. Birthdays force us to be the center of attention, right? And Alex is absolutely terrified of feeling exposed, or worse, feeling like people are only celebrating him out of pity or obligation. Second, he has this really high self-sufficiency. He has learned how to be his own source of comfort. He takes a lot of pride in his independence, but actually, scratch that. It's more like that pride is actively hiding his loneliness. And finally, emotional exhaustion. He might just be highly sensitive, or maybe he's been disappointed way too many times in the past, so to him, solitude just feels so much safer than what he perceives as fake celebrations. Now for our second mirror, Daniel and the autonomous solo birthday. Let's completely contrast this. On one side, we have Alex, right? Hiding in his dimmed apartment, dreading that vulnerability. But on the other side, there's Daniel. It's 11:47 a.m., he is still in his pajamas, sporting this massive smile, and he's deliberately ignoring a phone that is absolutely full of birthday messages. Because unlike Alex, Daniel has zero plans today. No restaurant reservations to rush to, no awkward birthday dinners, no organizing a dozen guests, and absolutely no pretending to enjoy a party he didn't even want in the first place. Daniel operates by one very simple rule today. He gets to do whatever he wants, and he leans into it fully. For lunch, he goes ahead and orders that expensive favorite burger he usually talks himself out of buying. He spends 3 solid hours playing video games without a single ounce of guilt about quote-unquote wasting time. Later on, he goes to the movies completely alone. And to cap the whole shebang off, he'll buy himself a cake, rewatch a movie he's already seen 10 times, and stay up way too late. To him, that sounds absolutely perfect. He completely 100% embraces his freedom. And this brilliantly illustrates the psychological concept of autonomy. Autonomy is, simply put, that feeling of being in complete control of your own choices. For Daniel, and people like him, freedom isn't just some rare luxury. It is a primary source of happiness. To some people, birthdays are all about gathering everyone together in one room. But for Daniel, birthdays are fundamentally about pure, unadulterated freedom. This ties directly into another vital concept, intrinsic enjoyment. Basically, this is the ability to naturally enjoy activities for their own sake, rather than deriving joy from massive events, crowds, or, the attention of who is watching you do it. Daniel doesn't need a massive crowd of people to validate his fun. Whether it's eating a great meal, watching a good movie, or just enjoying a quiet afternoon with a hobby he loves, the pleasure comes directly from the experience itself. It's completely internal. Which brings us to the reflection pivot. Choosing your intentional birthday. I really want to let this sink in for a second. Being alone on your birthday is not automatically a bad thing. I know it's so easy to buy into the social pressure that tells us we need a massive crowd to be loved, but people like Daniel, they remind us that solitude is not the opposite of happiness. As you've seen, it can be this beautiful, rare opportunity to connect with yourself and spend the day exactly how you want to. What truly matters here is the reason behind your choice. Let's move to this breakdown and see how this builds into actionable advice for you. If your motivation for spending your birthday alone is peace, meaning the solitude brings you that intrinsic enjoyment we talked about, then your action should be to treat yourself without a single drop of guilt. Make the day meaningful in your own way, just like Daniel. But if your motivation stems from fear, if you are spending it alone because you're afraid of being rejected, disappointed, or forgotten, kind of like Alex, then you can't just ignore that feeling. Your action there must be to find the courage to reach out, make plans, and let people know you want connection. This brings us right to the core psychological takeaway of our explainer today. A truly healthy life needs a balance of both these elements to thrive. It requires the self-sufficiency to genuinely, deeply enjoy your own company, and it equally requires the vulnerability and, frankly, the courage to let other people be a part of your life. Finding that sweet spot, that balance, is the absolute key to genuine well-being. So let's completely redefine what a birthday actually measures. Look, your birthday isn't a popularity test. It is not a metric of how many people show up for you at a crowded restaurant. Instead, it is a profound reminder of how you choose to spend another year of your life. It is your day to be lived exactly as you see fit. I want to leave you with this final vital question to reflect upon today. Which one sounds more like you? Alex, Daniel, or maybe neither? And more importantly, what is your genuine reason for spending your birthday the way you do? Take some time to truly think about that. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. I hope it sparked some great reflection and empowered you to claim your next birthday intentionally. Until next time, stay curious and take care.
Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe.